Welcome back, everybody. Our second match of your evening, possibly. My morning still, but nonetheless, we got Penta versus Undefined. So we just saw Undefined, or the ex-Copenhagen Wolves lineup. They just won a map. It was 19-17. And, yeah, they had a pretty darn good showing versus G-Play. So we'll see if they continue, as we're on the same map. And you can see the knife round going the way of, actually, it switches right back. This is why I don't like to cast all these knife rounds, as it's going to be Glaive versus Stavros in a one-on-one to figure out. And side choice, not as huge, obviously, in Dust 2, but you still want to kind of maybe put your opponent on the lesser comfortable side for themselves, or it's going to be Glaive to win it. So
yeah, Dust 2 is one of the few maps that you're justified to pick both sides, whatever side you're most comfortable with. And like you were saying, the side you feel your opponents are uncomfortable with, that you can put them on the starting side, try to rattle off a big lead. But Copenhagen Wolves just won, which was a must-win map, pretty much. They had lost a really close one on Train, and they only played 3 matches in these groups. And Peter's already 1-0 in the groups, now Copenhagen 1-1. So if Copenhagen don't win this one, this is Penta's first map of the group. So if Copenhagen, or the ex-Copenhagen, don't win this one, they're probably not going to make it unless all teams take certain key losses. So must win here, and for Penta. Not the same scenario, but of course they'd love to go 3-0 in the groups, just solidifying their place. Looks like we are just about to go live, and looking at recent results, Penta's not been looking too hot. And Copenhagen, I love the adjustments they made mid-match, and even into the overtime, they showed new ideas at the very end that they didn't try the entire time of regulation. So a little worried for Penta here.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe Penta was watching closely as that match was live. Who knows? May have been smart, but that being said, you can't necessarily predict that the vetoes were going to go and you'd play Dust 2 as well. But here we go. Pistol round. You can see nade sets on Crystal and Strux here on the T side. Armor on the rest, and early on we see Glaive and Asilian trying to pick into mid here. Crystal actually giving them something to shoot at it as he's getting taken down. 63 HP on him, but at the moment, they're just kind of buying some time as they've got 2 players about to exit Lower Dark, and this might actually just be a pop flash in through middle doors, something to that effect, but they will nade to the left side. Asilian on 3 HP needs to fall off as mid control now to the T side.
Yeah, I think they're going to go put Asilian at a headshot spot over towards B. But Penta know they've done a little bit of damage at mid, but Glaive is going to take the advantage. Oh, what a late nade by Maeve. I love that read, but it's not going to be enough. Troubley takes it along. Now they're looking to split onto the A site. And Undefined, really worried about mid here, so they are going to be suspect at long. If they have any smokes for the cross for Penta, they might be able to do this. Battle on the catwalk goes. Oh, I thought it was going to go to Stavros. It's going to be Hunden. He's been playing A really well, but Penta have been allowed to cross into the site. Another nade. So late nades all around by these two teams, really crippling each other. But Penta do get the bomb down, and Undefined, they're not in the best spot to rotate from here. Long is going to be really hard to approach from. They don't have the time to go there.
Yeah, they're going to take towards Cat. They will send 1 player towards Long. They do not have a kit. Tensky with a grenade. We'll see if that comes into play, and it does. Crystal goes down, so a 1-for-1 trade here. Is it? Oh, wow, what a shot. Troubley gets blindsided by Asilian, and now it's only Strux left. And he's going to be playing from the safe box. Takes down Tensky. What? Asilian, you are a monster.
No kit.
And he's not going to have time. He does have a kit, but he doesn't go for it. I think I guess he didn't have time for it. Again, my clock isn't completely tuned in. Sorry, say that again.
I think you would have. I think you would have just had like a second or 2 left on that. It was just a little too late there.
Asilian, though, my God, we saw
that
same
shot,
thing.
dude.
CT pistol on the last map that we just casted. He did that crazy 180 flick on that long A player. So, and he had some more standout performance there. They're not able to secure it, and that's unfortunate for them. But Penta barely squeaked that one out.
Yeah, and I was doing the internal clock, and I knew that there was just not enough time to send that player long, and Asilian just hesitated a little bit to try to get out long quietly. Otherwise, he probably would have dropped to Crystal, who was lurking about. But the timing just a little bit off. That's Counter-Strike. A second or 2 decides the round. Often milliseconds, and when you're spraying each other, can decide rounds. Penta here going for full rifles, with the exception of 1 scout. Ex-Wolves buying up what they can. Oh, with the drum scout angle, Glaive from near the elevator. Does try to get a kill there. Can't do it. Maeve at long. That's going to grab himself a AK. And now looking to retake only from the catwalk here. I'd like for Maeve to go back towards long. And actually, the Wolves, really patient and passive style of play here. A 4-on-4, opting not to go for it. And they're going to, I assume they're going to buy what they can on top of these weapons. You know, I would have liked to see them go for it here. They had Maeve that he can come up long. Penta had not gained mid or long control just yet. I think that's why Maeve was so worried about heading back to long, because how are you going to take out long when there's a guy in pit and there's a guy posted on the corner as well? I think that was a thought process behind the save, but I would have liked them to go for it because their next round is still not going to be that good of a buy.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a shoddy one, but they do at least get the AK on Maeve. So we'll have one real rifle on the field. Other than that, though, yeah, they do not have a lot of money to really invest in this round. So they might just not even. Honestly, maybe they just keep exactly what they had already and just treat this one as a full save, just continuing with those weapons. And I think that's the right call. That's what they're going to go for, considering they didn't go for that last retake anyhow. So Glaive trying to pick inside of mid at the moment, but B-Rush underway. Tensky only with a deagle. He does have Glaive with him as well. Glaive's going to tag one, but Tensky's not been able to hit anything quite yet. Glaive finally hits one, but Tensky goes down in the process, and now Glaive left. He actually bought a ton of time. All 4 CTs are now at double doors and windows, so they're smoked off at the moment, so it makes things a little bit more difficult, but look at how passive Penta's playing this. They're just waiting for the CTs to try and retake.
I'm wondering if they're waiting for that. Wow, that's interesting. And nobody's at that box. Really unfortunate for the Danes here. But gonna be Stavros onto Glaive. Kept jumping up and down with that scout. Eventually goes down. Crystal from the window, and I think that's gonna prompt the save here from the Danes, and yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But this scout player, oh, it's actually Hunden, who wants to get a couple more kills with his UMP. Few of Penta members are pretty low, so if you could find the timing here to come into the site and take out any of the low players, start spamming them down. Oh man, misses. Can't connect onto the one with no HP. Look at how low Penta is.
Wow.
Unfortunate for the Danish side, but Germans looking real good coming into the next gun round. They do have a scout that they're probably going to trade out for an AWP. Maybe not. We see some teams, you know, stick with that scout, banking on the fact they're going to win the round and taking your opponent's op. But for the Danish side, since they bought up quite a bit on the previous rounds, they're not going to bust out that op just yet. And Penta, they're already in that position where they can lose a round and still buy. So nice control of their anti-eco rounds.
Yeah, the fact that all 4 stay alive in that last round is damn good for them. As you can see, their monetary situation, like you were saying, they're able to buy once again if they lose this. But here we go, long play. Hunden's going to make it into pit, and that's going to buy some time for Maeve to actually peek the corner. He's got a Cillian with him as well. But it's going to be Crystal and Troubley. Big shots from them, and long is clear. 3v2 as now need to deal with Glaive. He's going to pop flash the corners. A cute one, as, again, very effective. You can see he almost gets a double spray down. Crystal down to 50. So good long defense there from Glaive, but now they need to react as they're going to be rotating out from this player on the T side.
Yeah, Struggs with the flank. He spots him boosting on elevator. He's trying to snipe some ankles here. Tensky eventually goes down. His legs are all busted up. The only problem for Penta here is they're a little spread out. Oh man, Glaive trying to jump peek onto a pit player. He's relying on banking on that headshot. Risky business, and now he's going to rush down the long player. He doesn't have a lot of other choices to go with, but Crystal's still stuck in the pit, and they think he's in sight. Glaive has actually made his way over to Car, and Crystal doesn't know yet. Oh, Glaive misses his shot, though, and now that should be the round for Penta. Solidified with a nade by Crystal, and like that, that's what can happen in CS. It's dangerous for the force buys. Like, if you're fighting for that early momentum, so you want to force buy, you want to get those early rounds out, but the risk you take is what we're seeing here. Because Penta, they get that, they win the anti-ecos without losing too much, even though the Danish side had bought, and now after losing the gun round, you're going to be down 5-0 before you get everything you want out on your first real gun round.
And it looks like we got a pause coming in here. No fun, as we're going to have to wait for this to get figured out. But yeah, 4 rounds early, and they just bully long A there. Worked out great for them. And again, 4 rounds. T-side does 2. Not too shabby at all. Definitely start that they were looking for here. But it looks like it's Tabson that's having some issues on that T side. So again, hopefully we can get that situation resolved, as never a fun time when someone's having network issues and such. So, again, we're waiting to get into our 5th round, and if we look at the monetary situation, CTs, again, they should be saving in this round. Highly unlikely that they force up. It'll be another save before their next rifle, and we'll see. Does an op come into play? Are they going to have Maeve set up? We saw some standout play from him where he's holding long A and catwalk, both from a platform. I believe it was around where Hunted died at long. Got pretty much nothing done other than called that there was 3 coming out, and it was Maeve with the big play to kind of hold off. So we'll see. I think the op is a critical aspect of Undefined here, but we are going to be back live into things, and again, the CTs pretty ill-equipped. We'll see what they go for. Tensky's going to be working a NOA stack in mid with Glaive. Other than that, they've got some cat pressure, but Long is going to be the first casualty as Asilian gets dropped by Troubly.
Yep, Tabson moving up. He's got to deal with the NOA stack. Look, I really like this from the Danish side here. They have the NOA stack as well as a catwalk push. So you have basically 4 players in that area. You could peek from catwalk, forcing the attention of the T's to come towards the catwalk, and then they try to trade. Then they got to deal with the NOA stack, but it doesn't really work out as Penta is able to stabilize on that. They do lose only 2 players. Now they're going to go towards mid to B, and for Undefined, the X-Wolves just kind of stuck in the A bomb site, hoping that they'd come towards A, but instead got to rotate over to B. And where are the fallen weapons? There's got to be something on catwalk to claim, but not relinquishing that is Stavros, playing the economical game. Even though he's all alone, it's something you want to do is just not allow anybody to get any economical advantage by bringing in one of your fallen weapons, but eventually going to fall off a catwalk, group up with his teammates, making sure no clutch happens. I don't think they know how low Tensky is exactly, but as I was saying before, that's the risk you take by going for those 4 spies early. Penta now up 5-0, and it's kind of, you can't say it for certain how it exactly affects it with your 4 spies on your first gun round. Sure, you got M4s and everything, but you know Maeve wants to bust out that AWP here on the CT side. We'll see if he opts to go for it here. Looks like he's thinking about it, and there it is for the Penta side. Are we going to have anything on Crystal, perhaps? Looks like it is going to be dropped over towards him. So we might have a mid-battle here, but Penta, if they can keep these rounds going, they're going to make it really tough for the Danish side to come back.
Yeah, I was actually upset there with Mavis. He actually found that op on Cat, but decided to peek out with a P250 while he has an op on his back and died. I was so confused when that happened, but nonetheless, he is going to have no luck in this round, as he's dead already, and they will be able to fire back. And Stavros goes down in upper dark, so a 1-for-1 trade as Asilian. Looks like he's going to be picking up that AWP, finds one. It's going to be Tamsin working catwalk, but the mid to B play underway. Crystal's going to be peeking out very slowly with his op in hand. The 2 players with him as well, and see if they can actually make this work. They need to be cautious that, again, Asilian with that AWP might be able to work some picks, and Crystal actually walks through the smoke. Glaive on a Strux, and Crystal does take down Asilian, so I don't think he realized that it would come through. Crystal's running the show right now with the 3K in the round, and now he's actually hopping up back towards catwalk, but it's Troubly to open up B. Only Tensky left, and where do the T's go? I don't think they realize that Tensky is over towards B. Oh, they must, as now they're taking back towards Cat. They're going to go for A here.
Yeah, so much misdirection being employed by the Germans here. Crystal, he threw a mid to B smoke, posted up at mid while his teammates were thinking about taking into A, and Crystal is going to get the flank kill onto Tensky, but nothing but misdirection there by Penta. And even in the end, it was Crystal who was the bait in another situation, as he got a kill at mid, got another one at mid, and then started faking like he was falling back towards mid when both of the CTs were stuck in B. Then Troubly is posted up outside of B on the box, so the Danes think they have to rotate, otherwise A is going to be taken, but really the bomb's just sitting outside the bomb site. I love what Penta's doing here.
Oh, and Crystal takes down Glaive early on. They're able to afford another AWP, but once again, Crystal's going to put an end to that as down player. They're looking to take into this B bomb site at Tensky, the only one there to defend. Tamsin with a nice headshot to take into the bomb site. They smoke the doors, and it's pretty much the round from here. Again, retaking B, one of the hardest sites to retake in the game, period. And being that they're down 2 players, and there is so many T's spread out right now. We've got one in lower dark. We've got one at top mid. Troubly's just lurking around, so it is definitely safe territory, and it's going to be 7-0 here. Penta just running a clinic on Dust 2 right now. Look at the score sheet. Undefined just really had not a lot of success anywhere.
Yeah, and Crystal, he's taken out 2 op attempts from the Danish side here. Penta on the hunt, correct decision with the amount of money they have. They can't find any kills just yet. Might be able to take down a Cillian on the catwalk.
Wow,
perhaps.
He died to the bomb, I guess?
What?
Must have.
That's
he was down
weird.
super low, I guess. I think he got tagged as he was kind of moving back against the wall, and then I guess the bomb. Nuts. I don't think I've ever seen a B bomb site explosion kill someone on catwalk like that.
Yeah, he must have been falling back just at the right place. That's unfortunate for him there. No gun for them this round, or only 1 coming into the next. But yeah, Penta. It doesn't seem like the Danish side has an answer for Crystal here. He's taken out both 1 versus 1 op duels. And Undefined have only had 2 chances with the AWP thus far, based upon them forcing up early this round, going for some aggression out long. Penta taking things pretty passively, also aggression over towards the B site, but Penta is ready for everything here. They're not giving up any easy kills. They're not taking any aggressive angles to give the Danish side an easier chance at a frag. We see Strugs all the way outside of B, but actually Glaive has made his way up into the tunnels, and he drops one of them. Looking for Stavros as well. This is a big play by Glaive, now coming in through with the flank, and a patient play of Penta. Now we have another push coming through for the Danes coming up the catwalk. Penta looking to take into B here without their mid take being ready for it. Now they're all just going to group up towards the B site, but I think the Danish side has a decent chance of holding this.
And then it's just going to go right through the smoke. You find Strux and Stavros both in the B-bomb site. You'll be able to collect a gun, and the rest of the T's, 2 left, Crystal and Troubly, they want nothing to do with that. And you know what? If they just book it up catwalk, Maeve's going to have a hard time holding this off all by himself, but he actually finds a good angle. Now it's only Troubly here. Maeve, beautiful shots as he clutches and basically gives the first round here for Undefined. If he doesn't hold CT ramp like that, that would have been a bit of a rough retake. But he's able to hold, and that's the first round for the CT side. But, you know, we say it's very critical that you pick up that second round thereafter. Otherwise, Penta could just run away with this.
Yeah, this is a big round for the Danish side, and unless Peter loses, like, they're gonna, if they don't win this round, they need key losses from at least 2 other members of their group, and this is one of the rounds that decides a whole lot of how the match is gonna go thereafter. And no early frags for Penta this time. Crystal can't put it to work just yet, but I'm sure he'll be trying to open up a bomb site eventually. Penta real spread out, 2 players ready for some sort of tunnels push. We haven't seen the Danish side push out of long as much as they were against the previous team. And now setting up for their mid to B. It's kind of like early round, mid round, and late round things you could do on Dust 2. Early round, you're just trying to get control of mid, you know, working your way up, making sure there's no stacks. Mid round, about right now, that's when you start applying pressure to mid and catwalk. Seeing if you can get any early frags and just kind of jockey the CTs out of position. But it looks like Penta just thinking about going for a straight-up A execute here.
Yeah, Maeve's going to be holding with an AWP at Karn. I think they spotted him out as well. So they know his location. He's kind of fallen off a little bit further towards long. Hunden's going to help him out at long, but Troubly still going to be lurking about in long A. So they've still got him to deal with, and Hunden goes down to him. So although Maeve gets a shot, he needs to focus back on Troubly. Woo, gets that one as well. Beautiful shots. As now it's going to be 3-on-4. Bomb's been planted. It is a safe plant, but Crystal finds Glaive. They're going to try and peek towards CT ramp. Cillian is going to lose his life because of it. Batensky will be able to refrag 2-on-2 as Maeve is out of the smoke here, and he's going to be taken up towards the site. He loses his teammate, Crystal, with another out frag, and he's actually on the bomb, but he's going to have to get off of it. Nice shot onto Stavros, but Crystal will end the round with a pistol in his hand. 3K for Crystal. Honestly, Crystal is showing up right now, 12-1-4.
Right? He's young Crystal right now. This guy with his AWP, Danish side has no answer for him. And he did the ninja drop into spawn. Like, in this sort of, you know, pressure situation like that, to go for that, I guess he knows that the player is going to have to cross long after he goes for that kill, but his flicks are on point. Even the shot that he missed looked really on. I'm just loving what I'm seeing from the legend himself. And they looks like the Danish side didn't win the round that they had to win, and at this point they're going to force up. They had a lot of round loss bonus coming in, so their money is really low. They, you know, should be saving at this point. They're not should be saving, because Penta is up so many rounds that Undefined have to take the gambits now. Otherwise, like the half is already won by Penta, and anything more that Undefined gives them, they have to take the risk now. And Penta with a big chance to just run away with this half. I mean, if the Danes don't win this one, we're looking at 10-1 likely before they could bust out some more weapons. Otherwise, they're just going to keep forcing and forcing and forcing, and that's a scenario you don't want to be caught in. And we'll see here. I'm surprised they had enough to buy up after that. 8-1 is your score, and that is a big deficit.
Yeah, that's a hard one to come back from, especially considering, again, we're talking about that was the round that they needed to win there. But we can see they do have a little bit of equipment coming into this round. But it's not going to be that great, as they've got Maeve with an AWP in his hands. He's actually been doing pretty good, 9-1-6. Rest of the players need to step up a little bit here, but Penta has honestly just been kind of outplaying. It hasn't really come down to just simple aim duels. It's definitely been Penta kind of working the map and honestly showing their strength on this T side. So just waiting for this pause to come through, and again, talking a little bit more about eBettle, one of our partners. If you guys are interested in betting with some real money and such, you can check that out. But the odds for this one were 1.8 to 1.9. So 1.8 for Undefined, 1.9 for Penta. So honestly, it was really close there, and slightly favored for the X-Wolves lineup. But Penta showing good things here, as, like you were saying, they've actually had a pretty lackluster kind of last few matches. If you take a look at, for example, HLTV and look at just kind of their previous match list, there's a lot of losses down that list, and honestly not a win to be found. So we'll see if they can get in their winning ways here, as Crystal, again, looks to be leading them to it. 12-1-4, and it does not look to be stopping anytime soon as he gets Glaive through the doors. So effective. If you can have a player like that picking through doors and just hitting shots, Dust 2 is definitely a good map for you.
An allowed up catwalk early as Penta, thanks to their smoke. They're taking it real aggressively here with the rest of the players in back of mid. Interesting adaptation by Penta, trying to catch X-Wolves off guard with how quickly they took up catwalk, but instead they do give the advantage over towards the Danish side here. And now just trying to go for mid control late, pushing up in the B tunnels, trade it off quickly by Crystal. And this is a bit of a force buy. Oh, Maeve finally takes down Crystal. That's got to be really satisfying to shut him down at this point. 2 players up here from Penta and Undefined. They're on their way to winning this round, and this was a bit of a force buy for them. 2 players did not have rifles as Tabson falls. Only Troubly up here with his AWP, working up the catwalk quite slowly. Does have a flank. And Root might be able to get around the corner just in time. Interesting timing there. And this may just make Asilion think catwalk might be pretty clear. And Troubly posting up. Flank is coming through. And it should be the end of the round. Hunden takes him down, thinking about picking up the op. Little double dragon, not going to happen. And now Undefined had won this one. And their money is, let's take a look. I mean, if they're going to have to buy some nades and such. And yeah, they're not going to be able to buy. If they lose this one, they'll force up. But Penta now, their money has been broken. Only 1 player above 1,000. And Crystal, not deterred from using that AWP just yet. And does miss the shot on the cross. Penta now, we're going to see them open up into one of their slower rounds after they got punished on the catwalk. And Undefined getting pretty aggressive on both sides of long as well as B. Crystal so fast with the AWP. And it looks like Tabson getting some networking issues here. So pretty much even though Crystal did get that opening pick. Troubly as well at long. So looking to respond was CW at long after losing that player. And that's what you want to do on the CT side. It's a pretty risky business doing that, because you want to even things back out. But instead, you may just give the other team an even easier access to the bomb site. But it's got to be satisfying for Penta to win these rounds that that one of their players is, unable to play, and still win it.
Yeah, they're actually going to team kill him, as I think they wanted to pick up one of his weapons, possibly. Something to that effect. As I think they had 1 Tech 9 on the field, so picking that up, but might affect their stats a little bit. Not a big issue at all, though, as 3 CTs left up. Asillion's playing from CT spawn. And they are going to try and cross long A, so Asilion with the cute pop flash. Crystal full blind. Troubly hits the shot, though, as he's covering from long A there. So that works out well. Only 2 CTs left. And, yeah, it looks like even without Tabson in this round, it is going to be a T-side round. So Glaive kind of the only one in position to actually deal with this. And Crystal, oh, gonna miss that shot. I don't know if he was scoped in or anything, but missed it. And now Glaive actually takes down Stavros, and Tensky takes down one as well. So, oh, what a shot, though. Crystal gets Glaive as he tries to hop up beside the ledge, and Tensky left to save his weaponry. So it'll be another round for Penta. I imagine we'll have to figure something out with Tabson here, as he's having a bad time at the moment. But it's going to be 9 rounds for Penta, and not any money on the board for the CT side.
Yeah, looking at that, it's not a good look for them. But with the one gun that they save, I think they're going to be tempted to just force up on top of it. They can't let Tempo. Whoa, I'm on the wrong side of the world here. They can't let Penta have any more rounds, so you kind of have to force buy in this situation. But we are going to have to figure out with Tabson here, the second issue we've had. But it's got to be satisfying for Penta, even though they got this issue happening. They still win it. And for the Danish side, like, come on, guys, we can't win 4 versus 5. What's going on here?
Yeah, Crystal making the difference, as well as, honestly, Troubly hit some nice shots as well. They're all kind of pulling their weight on this Penta front. But again, we're going to figure out if Tabson's going to join us, or if they'll have a stand-in, or what's going on there, as he has had a couple of rounds where the same issue was occurring. So, see what develops there, but 9-2 Penta, and like we were saying, Undefined can't really afford to lose this match. So if they drop this one, they're done. Well, they're not done in the group. They're done their matches in the group, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
and they'll be 1-2 if they drop this. As again, Peter was able to squeak out a victory, 16-14 on Train. They won their last match that we just saw versus G Play in overtime. But in your group, again, it's group of 4. You only play the people in your group once, and that's basically the way we figure out which teams, 2 of which from each group, will move out to our playoffs, which are best of 3 in upper and lower bracket, double elimination. But again, you really want to obviously get as many wins as you can in there. So the fact that they dropped to Peter, this is not a spot they like to be in at all. So this pause time, quite honestly, is probably beneficial for them on the CT side, as now they can kind of figure out and try and think of ways that they can come back in this match, as Penta has just really been a dominant force here on their T side.
That's one of the things I was highlighting at the start of the match, was the adaptations that Copenhagen, or ex-Copenhagen, was making in their previous match. But what can you do against an op that is that on point? He's hitting shots that it's a lot of times you can't do anything about it. Like, he peeks you and you're dead instantly. And if you're posted up in the wrong position, a lot of it's circumstantial, but most of it's Crystal. And yeah, back to the groups. Just looking at it right now, Peter 1-0, Copenhagen 1-1, and G Play is 0-1. So if Undefined loses this, then which they're on their way to doing, they're going to need Peter to take some losses. They're going to need G Play to win 1 and 2. If everybody ends up at 1 and 2, we're going to have these teams like play each other again, because we're not doing the rounds 4, rounds against type stuff, and I'm kind of glad about that. It doesn't feel right. I've been eliminated from playoffs a couple times when that's happening. It doesn't feel right as a player, but I suppose it does expedite the process. But I'm glad we're not doing it that way.
Yeah, I feel like the round differential, if you truly are focusing on that as a team, you actually play differently, because there's going to be rounds where you're like, well, we want to close this out earlier, so you take way more risks, and it kind of screws with even the gameplay and the kind of basic mechanics of the game, because you want to end things so early, and probably ends up that you may even lose because you're forcing up so much and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't agree with the round differential kind of aspect, but for some of the tournaments,
I mean, you come from StarCraft. Like one of the ways, like I could see it. Maybe the reference is way too obscure, but it's almost like if you won the match quicker in your group in StarCraft or something, it just doesn't feel right to have a team eliminated like that.
It'd be a really silly way to do it, because then the cheesy players that just go for all their early game stuff would obviously be it'd be very beneficial for them, because they'd be winning their matches much earlier. So yeah, don't really like that way. I understand why tournaments do it, as sometimes you're under heavy time constraints, and the way that they do the round robins, it just produces. If the stars align, you get some ties in the groups, and it's not the way you want it to be, but it happens. So at least here, again, online, where we have the luxury of being able to, if we do have ties, we can actually play them out in matches rather than the round differential. So definitely exciting stuff, as that is obviously for our EU RGN Pro Series. We do have our NA1 starting up, but we're currently just in the qualifiers at the moment. So last month, obviously, or I guess just ending, or we still haven't, what am I talking about? We just had the lower bracket finals. But we've got the qualifiers just ending for the EU stuff, but at the moment, they're just kind of playing for money. Of course, we already know who's made it in out of the top in that mini tournament and such, but the NA1 just started. So that's actually what we're going to be broadcasting tonight as, let me just double check what match that is going to be, as it isn't in a round of 24. Again, obviously, if you make it through, you'll be into the NA version of the Pro Series, which is really stacked as well. And yeah, it's going to be Third Equinox versus Devastation. So that'll be a best of 3. It's at 10 p.m. EST. That's the next match. We were supposed to have Property versus G2 coming up after this one. But it has been rescheduled. They had some sort of scheduling conflict there. So it'll be this match.
Lots more action tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow we actually have 6 best of 1s. And then some, that's for our EU stuff. And then we've got some NA stuff as well. But plenty of action going on. So
oh, no. Talks of rescheduling going on, too. Maybe we'll have 7 best of 1s tomorrow, Chad.
Please no.
I'm down to cast all day.
No, I agree. It'll also be so much action. I'm looking forward to it. But looks like, again, they're doing the stand-in route, and Penta, they don't really want to. I don't blame them. I feel like Undefined, it'd be nice to reschedule, because then you kind of get to regroup and come back into things. Maybe even watch the demo of the 12 rounds that have played out and figure out what you're going to do, right? But Penta, on the other hand, they have a substantial lead here. They would much rather just get a stand-in and close this out if at all possible. So even though, again, usually with stand-in, you're playing with someone that doesn't necessarily practice with you all the time, but I feel like with Crystal on point right like this, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, just when was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I mean, you can have the most godlike ringer come in, but just the chemistry of it, it doesn't like you can have Get Right come in or who's another player that's dominant of the German scene. What I'm referring to is Kiyoshima coming in yesterday for LDLC Blue, and he still just did okay. It wasn't like he was miles above everybody else, and that's just testament to what you need at this level of play as a team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Again, yeah, Kiyoshima coming in yesterday and didn't necessarily kind of expect that they're just like these gods and they're just going to run through everybody, but usually what's happened at that top tier is tons of teamwork, and that's what creates these beautiful plays.
That's what separates the top level, because you could just see by these plays. You have Crystal, he's looking like a top tier opera right now, and sometimes he's not as on point, but at this level it boils down to the teamwork, your executions, your reaction as a team. To be in these scenarios 1,000 times and knowing exactly how your teammate's going to play, and it's all those things that add up to a victory. And one player not being a part of the team, even though he might be the individual all-star, it can throw a little monkey wrench in there. Might be looking for a stand-in. Might be I think Penta says he's on his way. Copenhagen or ex-Copenhagen, they have a match coming up here, so. We'll see what's going on here as soon as we know. And I'd really like for this not to be rescheduled. And I bet you Penta would too. They really want to get this over with. And Penta, looking to start the group at 1-0. And just like Peter, it's going to be really tough for Copenhagen and G-Play to make it out of groups. And just showing how close these matches really are. Like the rounds for and rounds against. We have Peter, 16 rounds for them, 14 rounds against. Copenhagen dead even at 33-33, and G-Play at 17-19. Those are as close of scores as you could possibly get, because we don't do ties, thankfully. So that's just as close as it could possibly get.
And we're still trying to figure out what's going on with the stand-in. Penta apparently bringing one in, but we're still waiting for that to actually occur. So, guys, we're going to take a very short break. We'll just play some music for you, as we'll let you know. Oh, we do see Ink on the way. It looks like he is going to be. All right, we can kill a little bit more dead air, can't we? Can't we, Laser?
Oh,
As
I mean, we did when we're in person. We're basically casting.
pretty darn close. It's actually Tabson that comes back in.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully, if they have someone like my understanding is they were trying to find it, or they found a stand-in. Hopefully, he's on the roster and such. So if Tabson drops again, we immediately get him in. And that's going to be that as Tabson
And his
CS
team crash.
Oh, man.
Just lovely. At least these
Poor
teams are so nice about it. And then even the Wolves said we could find you a ringer. No big deal. Just I love seeing that. even though they're getting smashed right now, still just straight up gentlemen.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Struck's even apologizing for them and such. So, yeah, being professional about it. They don't want this to be happening. They all want to just play the game. That's what they're here to do. But sometimes there is some bigger issues. But it does look like we are going to have an unpause in just a moment here. They're saying have fun, but I've not seen it.
Money, all right. Economics, I'm scared for the Wolves. They need to win this round so badly.
Yeah, they decide to just drop all their change, and they're going to be going for it here. And Hunden, he will have an M4A1S. It's just out of his grasps at the moment. So T-side buying up as well. They get that AWP on Crystal. So now how does this play out after some dead time? Does Undefined come back and adapt? They've got 3 players that go along quick. Then they rotate them out, leaving just Hunden there, and that seems pretty standard at this point. Maeve's going to hang around at the corner a little bit, but Asilian goes way back to Goose on the A platform. So
they're playing this like an anti-eco round.
Sorry, say it again?
Penta's playing this like an anti-eco round.
They are.
This is their setup.
Very, very slow play from them. And yeah, you can see Strux is just playing outside of Upper Dark at the moment. And yeah, completely like that. And they're very kind of slow to take close mid to the doors, as they expect could be some cat play, could be that NOA stack that they've been seeing here, but it's not the case. It is a rifle round, so might be in for a surprise once they actually take an engagement.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen them do on their anti-ecos too, just group up and take into B. I don't know if Undefined has shot any bullets yet. Now comes the mid to B split. Nobody's middle for the Danes here. The split might be really effective. Strugs can still flash into the bomb site. They're trying to come through the window. Penske's below it. Glaive trying to get out of there. Penske does show himself from below the window. Quickly traded off by Crystal. And Glaive goes down as well. The flank comes through for Penta. This is great stuff from them. Troubly doesn't know that both remaining players are behind him. He falls, making it a 2-on-3 here. And they're going to split 1 tunnels and 1 doors.
And Asilian's going to get dropped. Crystal with the AWP. He's found 2 frags, and one of those being an entry down onto a player underneath the window for that trade frag. So good stuff from him. Once again, Hunden forced to save in this spot, and like we were saying, their economy is not looking good at all, and it's going to be 10-2 as the best scoreline the CTs are going to be looking for would be 5, but they're not going to have the money to buy in this next round. They only have, with this round being lost now, 2 rounds worth of loss bonus, and that is not enough. As we're going to see here, very, very broke are the CTs.
Yeah, hovering around that 2,000 mark. You know, I was thinking a statistic I'd love to see is save percentages like versus European teams versus North American teams, because I've been seeing way more saves on the European front. Be interesting to see how large of a disparity there is there. It's supposed to be a difficult statistic to monitor, but Crystal hits the shot on the cross, wounding Glaive down just a bit. Hit him in the leg, I assume, no, only down to 51 HP. And now Penta's going really quickly into B, now falling off a bit. Strugs may donate a weapon over here. Never mind, gets the kill. Here comes the mid to B split. Penta, little difficulty, only catwalk control for the Danish side here. And I don't know if they're going to get any kills. They're kind of stuck at mid. They're not, I mean, they're holding mid, but they're not holding any bomb sites. This is what you have to do. Hunden and Maeve here. Maeve would love to bring Crystal's AWP with him into the next round. Hunden drops 2 Stavros. And just Maeve here, looking for a gun. Lurking about mid. And now Penta is going to be moving up 11-2. And that's attributed to momentum, because Undefined has had some close rounds. Penta's been winning a lot of the 1 versus 1 and odd man scenario clutches. But this large score is tribute to Undefined cannot string any rounds together once they do win them. and that's how that's how you start your comeback, is putting the opposition on the save. But Penta has not allowed any of that, and no matter what happens from this point, they have a good shot in the next half.
Oh yeah, they're already sitting at 11 and could continue that lead. They don't really show any signs of stopping.
No.
But, this quick cap play, Maeve, as well as Asilian, they're going to be flashing towards mid. Tabson fully blind, and Maeve lines him up. Gets 2 for himself. Glaive onto Troubley as well, and wow, that happened very quickly. So some calculated aggression from the CT side, and they find themselves up in a 5v3. Still got to deal with Crystal, as he's going to be opting from upper tunnels. He takes some damage, though, down to 56. He's going to drop the bomb. My God, take down Tensky. Some insane shots coming out from Crystal here. Struck's still going to be alive in top mid and might be able to take down Hund and drops him to 5 HP. So Crystal might be able to take him out with a pistol, but he's in a 1-on-4, and at this point, they've got some money to play with. So he's going to go for it. Gets dropped by Asilian at the double doors. And again, Undefined at this point, they're looking for the 4 rounds. But even that, that's painful.
That's really painful. And the adjustment that the Wolves, or ex-Wolves, had made there was like a multi-pronged aggression from both B tunnels as well as the catwalk. And it was kind of delayed on B, but having success at both pushes, it can go either way. And at this point, they needed to take some risks. The buy was not optimal. So by taking the fights early, I like that. And now they're continuing their aggression, but Penta, their adjustment to this is to play way more passive. They're trying to take up long, but they have no idea that this mid take's coming through. Stavros does get 1, but traded off by Asilian. Asilian onto Strugs from down below, perhaps. I think he's going to go down to Glaive. So Strugs falls, and now Penta, they're not too worried about this, though. They've already put 11 rounds up. Had Copenhagen done this earlier in the half and strung those 2 rounds together, then we would have saw a tighter scoreline. But instead, Penta already up 11. But they need, if the ex-Wolves are going to have a chance here, they needed to get these last 2 rounds. By getting 4, you know, even if they lose pistol, I'm just stretching this out here. Bear with me. But if they win, if they lose pistol, they can still have a chance, because Penta will, in theory, be up to the 14th round. Then they just got to play perfect T-side after that. But if they get pistol, win the next 2, 7-11 is not that bad of a look. But it all comes down to that pistol round. We do have Tabson lagging out again. So see if Penta does get the stand in here as we move into the halftime. 11-4. This is a great half from the Germans. And on the back of Crystal, my God.
Yeah, he went absolutely insane that entire half, and looks like Tabin's gonna get back into the server. I feel for him, though. He's gone that entire round, so if he drops out in a round like pistol, for example, how critical would that be?
And it's worse on the CT side. Like, you don't have to go for like entries, or on the T side, if your guy lags out, you'd still play it like you don't have a player down. But on the CT side, that's an entire position that's just open.
Yeah, you really don't want to lose one of those. Say, for example, yeah, if he's the only lone survivor in a site and times out or something. Not fun at all. So, see what happens there, as looks like actually rejoined up for a moment, but now looks like he's gone again. So, hopefully we can get a stand-in here and finish off this match, as Tabson's just, again, not having a good time. And they really shouldn't rely on him at this point, being that he has timed out so many times in 1 half worth of play. So, needs to get that figured out. It looks like, yeah, we gotta figure out what's going on here. Of course, there is another match for Undefined coming up very quickly, so that's why we're trying to get this one finished. And honestly, they were a little upset. Crystal was taking a little bit of time. I guess he had some client issues. They almost rescheduled it then. So the fact that this is already still being
right
delayed,
after an overtime for the Wolves, right before that.
Not fun at all. So Tabson apparently back. His CS just crashed again. So, man, this guy's got all the issues.
Right.
Not fun at all. But it looks like we are going to get the second half going.
You know things are messed up when you're happy it was just a crash.
Yeah, we're fine, guys. Don't worry. We'll get through this. We just crashed, so. But they are going to have all their players, and it looks like probably the last one. And again, yeah, they're trying to rush this because they realize that they really need to get things going. And Tabson, he's going to go unready for a moment. Come on, Tabson. Let's get the show on the road.
I mean, if they play it and then it has to get rescheduled, the Wolves will have a much better chance when they do replay it. But it looks like maybe rescheduling. Please no. Okay, Penta says they can't do it. let you guys know as soon. I think we're at a bit of a stalemate here. But Penta, I mean, they should be able to close this out, but you can't expect them to play 4 versus 5. And yeah, it's like
It's not fun.
Danes want to play after, but Penta wants to. They can't, because they can't do it. I don't know. I was just watching Crystal with his AWP, even in this like mid-game, pre-game. His AWP is so on point. It's ridiculous. So as soon as we know, we'll let you guys know. But right now, we're just hanging in the balance here.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. As again, another match coming up. It's understandable. Undefined trying to get the show on the road. I don't blame them at all. And trying to figure out if they're going to get a stand-in or what the heck's going on here. But it does look like, yeah, looks like some players are leaving service. So, guys, we're going to update you with what is actually going on. We're going to take a very short break. And again, once we know what the plan of action is, we'll come back on the mic and let you guys know. So hang tight. We'll be back in just a couple. All right, guys. So just wanted to explain. Unfortunately, we do have to reschedule the second half. We have Undefined. They've got another match that they got to get into. Penta, they weren't able to find a stand-in in good time. So basically, we're going to have to reschedule the second half. So obviously, nobody's happy about that. Everybody wants to see it get finished. But we'll let you guys know as soon as that does get rescheduled. So apologies again. That is going to be the end of our European stuff. A little bit anticlimactic as we all wanted to see that map end. But it's not going to be the case as of today. And our next match, though, is going to be our North American match, which is going to be at 10 EST, Eastern Standard Time. And again, it is going to be Third Equinox versus Devastation. So should be a solid match there.